Back to 6 pandemics now, current, will you survive? Okay, this is the urgent health message channel, the channel that cuts through the noise. And yeah, we're going to look at irradiated foods in this thrilling episode. Now, it's not, my channel will not always be full of doom and gloom, okay? I wanted to make these videos about the current pandemics that we're living through, iodine deficiency, fluoride poisoning, etc., because I want to get that out of the way, because the channel is mainly going to be about Dr. Jean Sinhalese. And Dr. Jean Sinhalese was a French professor of medicine, and he wrote this doorstep of a book, which is L'alimentation ou la troisième médecine. Otherwise, my translation is food, the third medicine, nutrition, the third medicine. So, who was Dr. Jean Sinhalese? Well, first of all, let's get the pronunciation right. I'm not going to spend a long time on this. I'm just going to lighten the mood a little bit, yeah, before we get on to irradiated foods, which is going to depress you, I'm afraid. But we need to do something about it collectively. But, you know, I'm going to tell you the ways around it. I'll particularly tell you the ways around it when I get on to the Sinhalese diet. Anyway, so who was Dr. Jean Sinhalese? Well, he was a French professor of medicine. I'll show you how to pronounce it in a minute. So he was a French professor of medicine, and down here for over a period of 20 years, he had 256 patients, which he put on a very restrictive diet. He tested it on 100 patients with 115 incurable diseases. It didn't work on all of them, but in 91 of the diseases it did work. And, you know, some of the diseases like multiple sclerosis, there were, you know, big numbers of patients. If you go to my website, which is, I'll put a link on it here. If you go to the website, you'll see a list of all the diseases and the success rates. So 100% remission, 80, 90% remission, 50% improvement, and failure. So yeah, you'll see that listed for all the diseases. So if you've got multiple sclerosis or arthritis, whether it's osteoarthritis or whatever, you'll see the results, and it's very good. Out of this number of patients, there were 1,631 complete remissions, yeah, complete remissions. But that doesn't, I'm not counting there all the 90% remissions. So a lot of people had almost complete remissions. And of the patients, 2,300 improved, yeah. So this is a book which is, I'm afraid, has not been translated into English. It would probably take me about a year to translate it because some of it's very technical. And I couldn't afford to do that. I have a day job, and you know, I can't translate it. I haven't got the time. I think it would cost at least 25 grand to translate this, and no publisher has come forward. If there's a publisher out there that's interested in having it translated, yeah, contact me. My email address is on my website, so just contact me there, and I'll put you in touch with Dr. Sinhalese's daughters, and you can take it from there. So I translated this, which is a short guide to the main book. Okay, this is on Amazon. So we self-published this. So you can get this in this version, in the printed version, or you can get it in Kindle. So 100 diseases, how to prevent and reverse 100 diseases, the new French way with Dr. Sinhalese Diet Miracle. Okay, so I'll just quickly show you how to pronounce Dr. Jean Sinhalese, a quick, easy way to remember how to pronounce it. So this is how it's properly written in French. Dr. Jean Sinhalese. And so in it I've written a sort of transcription in English, so it would be Sean. This won't give you the exact pronunciation, French pronunciation, but a Frenchman would understand it. He'd just say, oh, it's an English guy, English or American or Australian guy with a terrible accent, New Zealand, sorry, South African, whatever, guy with a terrible French accent. So, Sean Sinhalese, okay, Sean Sinhalese. So, proper pronunciation is Dr. Jean Sinhalese, but anyway, there we go. So that's an easy way to remember how to pronounce it. Okay, so let's leave that for the moment, and we'll get on to radiated foods disaster, total disaster. And I'm going to, we'll have a look at the extent of it and what we can do, okay? It's going to be hard to find foods that aren't irradiated. So yes, I'll be, most of my videos will be about the Sinhalese diet, and I'll be showing you how to follow it. It's a very restricted diet, and people find, even motivated people who are motivated to overcome, to put their disease into remission, find it hard to follow, but it's not that hard to follow if you know how. So I'll be showing you, I'll be doing recipes, and I've got enough content to make hundreds of videos, so keep watching my channel, yeah? Anyway, today we're going to look at irradiated foods. Now, according to, you've heard of irradiated foods, yeah? So, it means bombarding food with radiation, basically. Two kinds of radiation, from what I can gather. So, according to the World Health Organization, the FDA, Food and Drug Administration in the US, Food Standards Agency in the UK, European Commission, probably whatever that is, the regulatory body is in Australia and New Zealand as well, all say it's the best thing since sliced bread. Do we believe them? No. Why would we? Okay, we're not stupid. Okay, this is what it does to food. Lots of vitamins, and by the way, lots of taste as well. Irradiated foods taste shit. So, increased risk of cancer, produces free radicals, and it produces novel molecules that aren't found in nature. Do we want those in our body? Especially not with the Sinhalese diet. The Sinhalese diet is all about the healthy gut. So these new molecules that aren't found in nature, they're going to find their way into our bodies through our gut. Okay, God knows what damage they're going to do. Disguised as soiled food. So if some meat is on the way out, it's on the turn, dose of irradiation, and you're good to go, yeah? And of course, big boys, you know, the conglomerates, they love it because it means they can keep food much longer. Basically, the idea of irradiating is to kill microbes. Now, it doesn't always, according to the dose, it doesn't kill all microbes. And, you know, you can kill some and then give some others because it stops them competing with other pathogens, which might then spread out of control. So that's the idea. It keeps food fresher for longer. That's the idea. So of course, Cargill is the big food producer in the world. It's a private company. They don't have to produce any public accounts. So God knows how much money they're making. Billions. It's a big family, huge family. I think only 2 of the Cargills are involved in running it. But of course it gives them a big advantage because small producers can't afford the investment in the hugely expensive plant to irradiate food. And so they can preserve their food sort of forever, yeah. Which foods particularly are being irradiated? Well, prawns. Prawns because they breed in inshore waters. So prawns are very often from inshore waters which are polluted by sewage, whatever. I mean, you can freeze fish and prawns. Freezing kills parasites, but it doesn't kill bacteria. So, you know, if you've got some prawns, but there's really no need to do that because most prawns are boiled and then frozen. So if they're cooked and then frozen, no need to irradiate them. But it comes up in a lot of things that prawns have been irradiated. Anyway, I eat prawns. I still eat prawns, frozen prawns. Now, irradiated food is supposed to be labelled. This is a sop to us, yeah. All the regulatory agencies say, oh, it's fine, yeah. But because of consumer resistance, it has to be labelled. So, is it being labelled? Well, what do you think? Okay, I mean, fruits and vegetables, they're loose in big boxes. Are they being labelled irradiated when they are? No, no chance. And I guarantee all the fruits and vegetables that are coming from South America are irradiated, or same from South Africa. Now, I think organic food is not supposed to be irradiated. If you buy organic food, you're supposed to be able to buy it safe in the knowledge that it hasn't been irradiated. But the thing is, in South Africa, regulatory body for organic food is a private company, Afrisco, okay? So it's not regulated by the state in South Africa. So I was buying grapes from my local health food shop, and they only sell organic stuff. But these grapes, well, you could put them on the counter for 3 weeks and they'd stay fresh. They'd never go mouldy. The only thing, after about 4 weeks, they start to shrivel up a bit. So, you know, they're irradiated. I mean, if the South African producers want to get in touch with me and tell me it ain't so, feel free, okay? Yeah, fruit in all these countries, Chile, Argentina, Peru, Mexico, they've all got plants to irradiate food. Turkey, I don't trust anything from Turkey. I used to eat lots of figs, dried figs, fresh figs, especially fresh figs. I love fresh figs, but I wouldn't get any from Turkey. I would trust them from France. I think fruit and vegetables from Europe a safer bet because there's really not much point in irradiating them. They can get them to consumers fast enough for them not to spoil. And there's a big resistance in Germany to irradiated food. Germans aren't stupid. Okay, so what else? Yeah, this caught me unawares. The last time I looked, irradiated food in the UK was only allowed for herbs and spices. When I translated this, for example, I think, when did I translate this? About 4 or 5 years ago. And yeah, when I did the research for this, it was only allowed for herbs and spices. Now they allow it for everything. apart from meat in the UK. In the UK, you can irradiate herbs, spices, fish, poultry, but not meat. But in the US, I believe Cargill are irradiating a lot of meat. And they're also doing a horrible thing as well. They're treating it with carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide, I mean, if it keeps it, the meat can be really old, but the carbon monoxide makes it look fresh and red. Yeah, horrible. I think the meat they supply to McDonald's is, in the US it is irradiated and treated with carbon monoxide. So, filthy. In the UK, now what about food that is irradiated and hasn't been labelled? I mean, theoretically, it's breaking the law. In the UK, the bodies that are charged with testing it to see if it is irradiated are local councils. It's the food safety team at your local council. So if you're living in the UK, do this. Okay, let's do this. Look up your local council, look up the email for their food safety team and send them an email and say, have you tested the grapes from Chile or the melons from Brazil for irradiation? When was the last time you tested for irradiated foods? Okay, I'll guarantee they say never. Okay, in Brazil, it's been the Wild West for food irradiation for the past 2 decades. Any dose of radiation and anything allowed. So, you know, they're well advanced. You know, plants all over the place. If it moves in Brazil, it gets irradiated. So don't get anything from Brazil, okay? Yeah, so let's have a look at some studies. Okay. So in February 1975, there was a study published in the International Journal of Radiation Biology. Feeding of irradiated wheat to rats was associated with increase in the number of polyploid cells in the bone marrow. Okay, so the British Journal of Nutrition, November 1978. Rats given diets containing freshly irradiated wheat showed significantly lower mean antibody titers to 4 different antigens, decreased numbers of antibody-forming cells in the spleen, and rosette-forming lymphocytes as compared to rats given either unirradiated wheat or irradiated wheat stored for a period of 12 weeks. So yeah, so the freshly irradiated stuff is worse than stuff that's been allowed to sit. But I mean, you know, fruit and vegetables that are left for 12 weeks. So now I eat a lot of whole grain brown rice. Yeah, I eat brown rice. And I can't get rice which sprouts. Rice, you should be able to sprout rice, okay? So I get organic rice. I buy organic rice, you know, it's labeled organic from the organic health food store, but it won't sprout. So that, as far as I'm concerned, that rice is not organic because it won't sprout. What are they doing to it? Are they irradiating it? Is this rice that's been through Cargill's hands? They are huge, Cargill. I mean, they control a huge amount of the world's food supply. So the other thing you can do to food, they started to do this with almonds in California. There was an outbreak of salmonella poisoning from almonds, and so they made it mandatory to heat treat almonds. They put the almonds in an autoclave, which is like a huge pressure cooker, yeah? And they heat the almonds to, I think it's 96 degrees C. Not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. If you're American, just look it up, yeah? Well, we'll flash it up on the video. Anyway, 96 degrees C. So it doesn't affect the taste of the almonds. You can't really detect it. But that is not, you know, almonds have oils in them, a lot of oil. And if you do that, it's going to, it's going to damage the oils. You know, goodness knows what it's doing to the almonds. So I don't buy almonds, like, you know, even from my health food store. I don't buy them organic. Well, you're allowed to do that with organic almonds as well. Okay, there's the thing. But the other thing is, there's another process which uses a solvent to, and again, I've forgotten the name of it. We'll flash it up on the video. But there's a solvent which pasteurizes the almonds, a horrible solvent, which isn't allowed in the EC, European Community, by the way. It's not allowed in the EC. Or it wasn't last time I looked, probably is now. But it's a carcinogen, a nasty carcinogen. So how much of these things are being heat treated or treated with this horrible solvent, I think. And most nuts, you should be able to sprout them as well. Almonds, you should be able to soak them and sprout them, and they'll grow little tails, yeah? And eventually they'll sprout if you leave them long enough. So how many of the nuts, the quinoa, the rice, all these health food items are being, you know, what are they treating them with? If you buy quinoa in the supermarket, it won't sprout. So something's happened to it. So, you know, one of these processes has been done to it. By the way, if you want to buy quinoa, buy it from Hodmedod's in the UK. It's untreated, it will sprout, okay? So Hodmedod's in the UK for your quinoa. I know there are places in the US which sell genuine raw food online. The other thing is, you know, truly raw. There are websites which advertise nuts which are truly raw. Well, truly raw is not, doesn't mean anything. It's not a legal term. You know, there's no legislation which states what truly raw means. So it could be anything, you know. It could refer to the almonds which have been heat treated. So be careful, yeah, be careful of fraudsters. So anything you buy, make sure it sprouts, yeah? So most things will sprout. If you get potatoes, leave them out on your counter for a few days and they should start to sprout. If they don't sprout, they're irradiated, okay? I've been doing this with potatoes I got from the supermarket and they're sprouting okay. Ginger, again, should sprout, and ginger is one of the things which is very likely to be irradiated. So if you get ginger, buy ginger, and ginger is a wonderful, healthy food. Got amazing properties. I'll be going into this when I do my videos on the Sinhalese diet. Yeah. Coming back to testing. The Food Standards Agency did some tests in 2002, and this was back when you were only allowed to irradiate herbs and spices. And I'll read this out, and we'll flash it up on the video. In a survey in 2002 of dietary supplements, prawns and shrimps, and herbs and spices, 42% of dietary supplements, that's 58 out of 138 samples tested, were irradiated. Well, that's a disaster. I mean, I take loads of supplements. I don't want to find, you know, like grapeseed extract. I don't want to find out that that's been irradiated. Oh my God. 5 out of 202 prawns and shrimp samples were also irradiated. 1 out of 203 herbs and spice samples tested. That was in 2002. Well, that, as far as I can tell, that's the last time they tested anything. So, you know, what are they waiting for? This was in 2002. Yeah, and back in that, I remember in that time, I reading newspaper articles about prawns that had what they called a holiday in Holland, because at that time irradiation was allowed in Holland, but not in the UK. So your nasty old prawns, you know, contaminated, we go to Holland, go from the UK to Holland, get irradiated, and then come back into the UK without being labelled, of course. That was a holiday in Holland for the prawns. Now, in 2001, the BBC did some tests. 2001. I mean, come on, we're 2019 now. Do some tests, for God's sake. Okay, 2001. One of the things found to be irradiated was ginseng in Holland and Barrett, which had been labelled as non-irradiated. So, and ginseng is a wonderful herb if it's fresh, wonderful. You know, is Big Pharma doing this? Are they, you know, irradiating the ginseng so that it's useless, you know, because it's competition? So there we go. Okay, next video will be GM foods. Okay, and yeah, we'll have that'll be a riot. Yeah. Okay, that's the one coming up.